Hello everybody and welcome back to another instalment of What to Watch this week. I'm Dan. Thank you for coming back to Danopedia, or if it's your first time, welcome. Today I'm going to talk to you about 3 shows, all on Netflix. If you're stuck for anything to watch this weekend, this might get you out of a hole. So, the first film I'm going to talk to you about is something, obviously, if you've watched any of our previous series, if you haven't, go back and watch them, but if you've watched any of our previous series, you'll know that I like things to do with space and space travel, and particularly historical NASA. So the first film I'm going to tell you about is called First Man, which, as you might expect, is the story of the first man to walk on the moon, Neil Armstrong, and his journey through working as a test pilot for a third party. He was non-military personnel. Obviously he fought in the Second World War as a pilot, became a test pilot afterwards. His backstory, the backstory of all of the famous Gemini astronauts, the US space race with the Russians, what the astronauts went through trying to work for NASA, develop this technology, process what they were going through, the loss of astronauts, obviously not in space because America's very proud of the fact they've never lost a man in space. However, they have lost plenty of men on the ground and going into orbit. It's a beautifully made film, not particularly fast paced and not dialogue led, but the special effects are absolutely cracking. It's got a great cast. Ryan Gosling playing Neil Armstrong really hits the mark. The costumes are so accurate. Adam Savage Tested did a cool series on making the props and the costumes, and actually made some of the Gemini and Apollo spacesuits, historical recreations, and which we used in the film. It's great. It's really good. You know, the things that you don't realise that the astronauts had to go through when they came back from the moon. They had to go into quarantine. They weren't allowed to see their families. They were the most famous men on the planet, and they couldn't even kiss their wives or children. So, really great film. Definitely worth a watch, especially if you have an interest in the history of the world, or in spaceflight at all. You know, it's great. I'd give Ryan Reynolds a big thumbs up for this one. The second movie I'm going to talk to you about is completely different, and it is Deadpool. Deadpool's been added to Netflix. Great movie. You know, Ryan Reynolds is great. The backstory is great. You know, it's a good origin story. A film that Tim Miller has directed, and Tim Miller's cool. You know, you can't argue with that. Definitely worth a watch. We get a bit of X-Men in there, we get some good bad guys, we get all the backstory that we need, we get Ryan Reynolds' sense of humour. It's not a PG, so obviously don't let the kids watch this. It's an adult movie. Spoiler alert, Deadpool's awesome. So definitely one of my favourite superhero movies to date, even though it's sort of in its own standalone universe. You haven't got a huge amount of support from other characters. It's mainly led with the dry sense of humour of Ryan Reynolds and the surrounding cast, but definitely worth a watch. Definitely worth putting on your list of films for this weekend if you're stuck for anything. If you want to laugh, if you want a bit of action, if you want some serious drama thrown in there for a couple of minutes maybe, then this is definitely your type of movie. And you know, if you like Ryan Reynolds, that's also, even though he's covered in scars and looks, I think he's described as a topographical map of Utah at one point, then definitely still worth a watch because you get to see him topless. So something for the ladies in there. The third movie I'd like to talk to you about is a absolute classic, one of the best movies of the last 15 years, Inception, directed by Christopher Nolan, with a massive cast, absolutely monstrous cast. Leo in the lead role, Ellen Page, Tom Hardy, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Michael Caine, Cillian Murphy, to name a few. Absolutely banging film. Very confusing. Great score. the editing is quality, the special effects are quality, the storyline is great. All the supporting cast are excellent. The props, the set, everything about it is brilliant. And also a great backstory and for Leo's character is fighting, will do anything to get back to his children, who have been left in the United States while he is effectively he's on the run. That's what's great about it. You've got that real drama. If he fails in his mission, then he's never going to get to see his children again. But a long one, you know, it's 2.5 hours at least, and it's worth it. It's a great film. In my opinion, it's probably one of his best films. It's definitely up there. It's in the top 3. I would definitely give this a watch. If you haven't already seen it, you're in for a real treat. If you have, just go back and enjoy it, because it's definitely worth it. I mean, I must have seen this film 10 times and it never gets any worse. So yeah, Inception, definitely worth a watch. Deadpool, definitely worth a watch. First Man, definitely worth a watch. That works out for probably 6 hours of your life over the weekend, if you can fit those in. But it's not going to be 6 hours of wasted time. So thanks very much for watching. If you've watched this far, it means that you are a true Danapedia fan. Well done. I will speak to you again soon, but in the meantime, if you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty of other content, plenty of other things. We explore many subject matters, so please go and have a watch of some of our other videos. I will put maybe a box on the screen now. I don't know, I haven't edited this yet, but in the future there may be a box for you to click on, either here, I don't know, it could be anywhere. But I'll speak to you soon. Thanks very much for watching.